Welcome to the Hustle Factory Podcast Show.
All we do is hustle.
And here's your host, John Lindemus.
He's kind of a big deal.
Bringing you amazing insights and views of entrepreneurship on today's society.
What's going on, everyone? I'm back again for another new yet inspirational episode of the Hustle Factory Podcast Show. Before I get on to today's agenda of this episode, I just gotta know, what did you guys think about the first bonus episode I uploaded a month ago? Did you guys think I covered everything about people being negative all the time? If I did, then drop a tweet or a comment via Twitter or Instagram at HFactory Podcast. Anyways, today's episode, I'll be going back to the topic of habits, specifically speaking, negativity. So today, I'm here to discuss 13 signs you're indeed a fucking negative person. And keep in mind, I will go ahead and create 2 parts for this particular topic since it's just way too long for me to talk about within the time range of my podcast. Also, all of these 13 signs are some of the things that I noticed and studied throughout my journey as an entrepreneur. So why don't I go ahead and get this episode started then? Are you guys ready? Oh, and I almost forgot. I gotta start saying this more. I'm giving you guys a huge disclaimer or a heads up that this podcast will have some explicit content, or should I say language, throughout every episode of the Hustle Factory Podcast Show. So this podcast show is not for sensitive people out there and so on. So if you have been warned, ladies and gentlemen. To get this in-depth episode of the Hustle Factory Podcast Show started, here are the following things I've noticed as regards of negative people. Having lack of confidence, doubt, and uncertainty is just one of the main ingredients of a toxic cocktail mix. And yes, I'm talking about negative people. I'm sure by now that you're curious as fuck how one negative person manages to survive with all of the negativity inside of them. Isn't that crazy, guys? And you know what? This group of people exists all over the place. Well, doesn't that shock you, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, I don't know about you, but it actually shocks the hell out of me all the time. And I'm not saying that you'll never have moments of despair and anxiety and even discouragement. As a matter of fact, it can happen anytime. But as a positive person, I will never let these negative thoughts take over my life and also your life as well, guys. So, let me go ahead and dive in and explore the first 6 signs of a negative person and what actually makes them tick and irritate. Also, you'll find out why a huge number of people are just clueless as fuck of their negativity and how it actually ruining their lives and everyone else's. And these warning signs will also teach you to be on the alert so that you can easily avoid falling into the negativity zone. Let's get on to it now, guys. Here's the first sign of a negative person. Do you know how negative people survive? They fucking survive all because all of them always worrying too much. A very unacceptable and annoying mindset, if you ask me. This ugly mindset is tailored towards the need to feel protected and aware to an extreme degree. One way to solve this problem is to simply practice mindfulness and always stay in the present. Well, getting to the second sign is that they start telling you what to do. It's exactly what you think it is, guys. You know damn pretty well they're definitely in the negativity squad when people start to fucking tell you what to do with your life. It can be whether from telling you what car to buy, changing your current job, what to eat. I mean, shit, the list can go on forever. As a matter of fact, they failed to realize this, yet it's definitely a sure sign that they haven't figured out their life issues. As a result, it is fucking much easier to tell everyone how to live their lives. That's pretty much everyone today in the society that we live on today. Anyways, guys. Next up is negative people sincerely fucking enjoy secrecy. I mean, what the fuck? So check this out. If you happen to meet a negative person during a party, then I know for sure that you'll be in a very weird yet annoying conversation. The thing is, they're fucking afraid and fearful of revealing too much information about themselves. So they live in fear that doing so will be used against them. And you know what? They hardly ever think they're what they should and be used in a positive way. And here's a major tip. If you ever encounter yourself becoming defensive or close during a conversation, just think about the possible reasons why. Why? Alright, to the fourth sign is, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, pessimism is an inclination to emphasize adverse aspects, conditions, and possibilities, or to expect the worst possible outcome. So why am I starting out the 4th sign with an official definition of pessimism? Well, that's because few people fail to comprehend that what being a pessimist really is. While in high school, my parents were literally the world's greatest pessimists. always spotting negativity on any situations given, like when I used to struggle on one of our classes, and I believe it's a geometry class. And you know what? They assume that I'll be a failure in life. And honestly, I can go on forever telling you why my parents are just another prime example of pessimistic people. It's very disappointing if you ask me. And just remember that negative people barely think or confront a happy outcome or great result, meaning they always imagine that everything will go fucking wrong or even chaotic. Well, here we go to the fifth sign, and that is negative people have a very thin skin. In other words, they are sensitive as fuck. As an entrepreneur, I noticed that negative people really tend to be really sensitive as fuck to criticism, which always ended up taking compliments the wrong way, and that's straight fact. Most of the time, they interpret remarks as rude or offensive. For example, a negative person may find jokes about people who have a 9 to 5 job doing a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle because they know exactly what they're on the same boat as well. And there's so many things out there negative people get offended about so easily. And this is just one of the warning signs that I totally fucking hate so much. And I just simply can't stand it. Well, let me go ahead and get onto the sixth sign. And pretty much, they just fucking complain all the time. Another crazy thing I notice about negative people is that they constantly complain and whine like a complete bitch all the time, convincing the entire world is against them. Isn't that absolutely crazy as hell, guys? They're usually a victim of different negativity throughout their lifetime, and most of the time, they don't even step back to look at the factors such as lack of energy, creativity, or simply hard work and perseverance. Well, there you have it, guys. The first six signs of a negative person, and I just finished discussing the first six signs of a negative person. And not to worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go ahead and do the second part of this topic on the next episode. And asking all of my listeners on this podcast, what are some of your thoughts on the first part of this topic? Did you find the first six signs of a negative person to be shocking or even get you curious? Do you know someone who has these warning signs of a negative person? If so, then go ahead and drop us a tweet via Twitter at HFactory Podcast, and we can get the discussion started there, ladies and gentlemen. So, that's the wrap for the first part of this topic for the Hustle Factory Podcast show. I appreciate the time on taking the time to listen to today's episode. And if you really enjoy listening to my podcast so far, it will mean a world to me if you guys can support my podcast by donating through the Anchor app or website. It could be any amount you choose, starting from 99 cents, $4.99, and even $9.99. By donating whatever amount you choose, you are helping me creating more amazing and inspirational content for this podcast. After all, sharing is caring. And please don't forget to rate and review my podcast on iTunes and Spotify as well. Or simply go ahead and leave a voice message on Anchor and hit that big clap button on that Anchor app. And make sure to follow back on Twitter and Instagram at H Factory Podcast, and also on the Hustle Factory Podcast Show's Facebook page for some news and updates. Honestly, if you ask me, I've kind of been slacking off just a little bit on the posting content through social medias. Plus, managing all of your social media and especially creating content is not an easy task to do. But I'm getting back to it, and I'll make sure not to disappoint you guys out there. And not to worry, I'll be adding more social media networks as this podcast goes on and gets better in the future. And you know what? If you love this episode, make sure to share this new episode with everyone you know and spread the word about the hustle, the process, the game. And I'll keep coming up with inspirational and motivational content for my podcast. So, what are some of your thoughts on today's episode? I did, right? Well, whatever your thoughts are, make sure to hit me up on your social media networks, and make sure to share this episode as well on social media, and make sure to use the hashtag the Hustle Factory Podcast. News and updates wise about this podcast? Well, let's see. Just want to give you guys a heads up about that our Instagram is now officially live, and I'm still kind of in that part creating some more content through there. But in the meantime, go ahead and just simply follow us back at H Factory Podcast on Instagram for some amazing and inspirational content to come. And I can tell you that the content I have on Instagram will give you some inspiration and some motivation, ladies and gentlemen. Well, make sure to join me at the end of the month for the second part of this topic. Next time, I'll go ahead and discuss the next 7 signs of a negative person. I hope that you guys get inspired and motivated on my podcast. If you do, make sure to share this with everyone you know and support my podcast as well. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.